Hello there, I'm Newbon, and a friend of mine recently asked me for some tips and how I go about doing things when it comes to playing rockabilly style guitar. He's been learning for a little while, learning the basics, and just like me, he's a rockabilly music enthusiast and wants to learn that kind of playing all the songs that he kind of likes. Anyway, I said that I'd show him, but I've just recently moved into a new house, and I've got a few days off from gigging at the moment, so I thought it'd be fun to set a little camera up and maybe share how I go about things to the rest of the people on YouTube and wherever you may be watching from. This isn't done professionally, it's just using a phone camera. My amp is just what you hear being picked up from the phone camera, so it's not meant to be anything professional, but just a bit of fun. And if anyone can get any sort of benefit from these videos, then that's absolutely great. But I'm just an enthusiast about the music and about playing the guitar as much as you guys watching probably. So anyway, he's asked specifically about fingerpicking, the sort of Scotty style fingerpicking that you hear on a lot of rockabilly records. So I'm going to be basing this first video around that kind of style. If we do some more videos, and I'm going to be doing some different things I've thought about in my head. But anyway, I'm using just a guitar that I've got at home lying around, which I did use live for about 4 or 5 years. And I've recently got a few new guitars which I'm kind of experimenting with at the moment. So this is kind of lying around at home, so I thought it would be nice just to get it out because it sounds great and it'd be good for the video, and it looks nice. It's got a great image for the sort of old school rock and roll stuff. Anyway, it's a Guild Starfire. I'm pretty sure it's a 90s model, but I'm not too sure. But it is a 60s design guitar. You don't see many rockabilly bands using these, but it is hollow body. It has got a, well, I was going to say Bigsby, but it's like a Guild version of a Bigsby. Works exactly the same, and it's just as good, really. Hollow body, but it's quite slim, quite a slim sort of body. But it's a great sounding guitar. I love this, and I will be using it again soon in the future. But just for the specific show that I'm doing at the moment, I've moved on to a few different things. Anyway, the amp that I use at home just for noodling around on, or just practicing on at home, is just a really old Roland Cube 60 watts, and it's got built-in effects. So I literally get a jack lead straight into the amp, and I put a bit of slap back on if I'm doing some rockabilly stuff. Don't use any reverb particularly unless it's called for. But just a 1 repeat slap back, as you can probably hear now. Just one echo, pretty quick, and that's just like a classic sort of rockabilly sound, I imagine. Anyway, a very clean setting, just a tiny bit of gain to make it sound like a bit of a natural bite to it. So nothing sort of overpowering or distorted, just that's what I use anyway, and that's just a basic home setup. When I'm playing live, I do have a few pedals, but nothing extravagant really, but it does the job. Anyway, before going straight in to the deep end with rockabilly style guitar playing, I really do recommend that if you're new to playing guitar, don't dive straight in with sort of finger picking styles and anything sort of specialized. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't play this music, that kind of look in, see that a lot of the music is based around 12 bar 3 chord sort of stuff, and kind of look down on it. But there's so much more to rockabilly, rock and roll, rhythm and blues than just the 3 chord bass. There's so much you can do over it, and it can get a little bit sophisticated in a way, I suppose. The jazzers think they're sophisticated, but this stuff can be just as tricky really, although it's based what you're doing over a 12-bar blues most of the time. It's not all 12-bar blues, but you know, that's the kind of classic what everyone thinks rock and roll and rockabilly is. But so yeah, make sure you're not new into playing guitar before you dive straight in. I recommend learning the basics. And one thing that drives me mad is make sure your guitar's in tune, even when you're just messing around at home. Don't just guess. If you got perfect pitch, that's fantastic. But don't just guess, and even you might not realise your bottom E string is actually an E flat, it's just down slightly, and you tune off that. Don't do it. Make sure you're tuned up properly from E, A, D, whatever, you know. Trust me, over time it makes a big difference to your ears and to your brain. You know, it's a very, very important thing. Anyway, there's a lot of me waffling on, but I'm just introducing what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, I remember first wanting to learn finger picking when I was about 12 years old. I started getting heavily into rockabilly music. I had been all my life, but you know, I started gaining a lot of interest in the likes of Cliff Gallup, Grady Martin, Scotty Moore, all those kind of players. And it was really, really frustrating me trying to learn the finger picking. I got no one to guide me as such. No one I knew locally who I was hanging around at the time played guitar. If they did, it was the guys at school and college that were playing heavy metal or pop music, which, you know, I respect many genres of music, but it's not something I wanted to do specifically at that time. So I was listening to old records, Scotty Moore, and the one thing that I persisted at was just the intro to Mystery Train. And if you guys out there listening to this video, rockabilly fans or Elvis Presley fans or whatever, you will probably already know the song Mystery Train. It's one of the most influential, legendary rockabilly songs, and especially the guitar parts, ever, really. And it's in the key of E, so everyone should know the chord of E. And before you start going off over to the song, there's just an introduction which hammer on and pulls off. Something like that, to over the E and the A, and there's a little rhythm that goes with thumb. I use a thumb pick. I don't know if you can see that properly, but I use a thumb pick. You don't have to use it, it's just a personal preference. There's a lot of guys these days just use a pick or just basically just use their fingers, but the way I got it was very slowly with an E chord, just a standard E chord, and with the E, D and A strings, get that rhythm going. It's almost like a Johnny Cash type thing. Get that going just with an E chord. Then once you can do that, not like me, once you can kind of get that up to a speed, or once you can do that as slow or as fast as you can really, but fluently, don't just rush through it and think, yeah, I can do it. Make sure it's spot on before you go any further, because if you're an enthusiast and you want to do it and you want to do it right, you may as well don't cheat yourself. Don't think, oh, that'll do. Get it right. This is great music, and it deserves to be, you know, played with feeling, with proper, you know, enthusiasm. So once you've got the train rhythm, really, keep practicing that as long as it takes. It might take a couple of days if you know you kind of experienced on the guitar. It might even take weeks or a month or whatever if you're new to it, but just keep at it. So once you've done that, I want you to go back to playing it slow. And I kind of use these 2 fingers more than I do occasionally throw in all 5 fingers, but for this specifically, your thumb and these 2 fingers next to you, I want you to, there's like an offbeat, which these are going to be mainly on the G and the B string. Just like an offbeat. So you're playing the first E, and then you're picking with the thumb and the 2 fingers. The A with the thumb, and then there's like a dum dum, like an offbeat. Now I'm not very, you know, I'm only doing this for fun, and I'm not a trained teacher, or I'm not a master of theory on the instruments, but I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'll just get a little bit closer into the camera just so you can see. So kind of, if you get what I'm saying, we can go to the next part of the video, but if not, just rewind this bit back and have a look again. Eventually start getting some speed, but again, don't rush it. Make sure you've got it, or else everything else that follows is going to be a nightmare for you. So once you've got that rhythm, once you've got the feel, and once you can play it fluently and you're happy with how you're pulling that off, we're going to start hammering on from the E chord to the A. So that is literally just going, let me just get in here, I've not got a very good camera angle, but and all I'm doing there is from the E, then I'm literally just barring my finger over for an A. I'm not like swapping position. I'm literally just going back and forwards from an E, barring over to an A chord. And that's all that is. And with, obviously, when you've got the right echo, I'm just using the built-in echo on a small amp at the moment, but when you've got the echo right, you can hear it all come together. And really, it's easier said than done. I say it's as simple as that, but I remember learning this and it wasn't simple at all. So take your time with it. Really make sure you're comfortable with the alternate sort of alternate bass root notes, or whatever you want to call it, before you start switching over to the different chords and stuff. But once you've got that, we can move on to the rest of the song, or just a classic kind of rockabilly style. I'm not going to give a full lesson on just specifically Mystery Train, but that is a great introductory to learning rockabilly style fingerpicking. So I think I'm going to end this one here, and I'm going to come back in a week or two or whatever, and hopefully you've sort of got up to scratch maybe, or getting there with the alternate bass line on the E chord, like a Mystery Train style intro, and then we'll go on to some other stuff. So hopefully you can join me again. Cheers.